The left's dark money network features George Soros and his Open Society Foundations, the Tides Foundation, and the network of nonprofits established by Arabella Advisors. The left's dark money network has deep ties to USAID, which has rightly received renewed scrutiny under Doge and after Elon Musk shined a light on it. The Soros-founded nonprofit has a long history with USAID. In 2001, the Soros Foundation's network, which became Open Society, listed USAID among its donor partners. Open Society and USAID have jointly funded the Organized Crime and Corruption Reporting Project, a news outlet that attacked conservatives for, you guessed it, criticizing Soros. Open Society and USAID also jointly fund the East-West Management Institute. Among other things, the institute launched court changes in Albania that critics allege resulted in the prosecution of Albanian opposition leader Sali Berisha, silencing the opponent of the country's socialist prime minister.
U.S. President Donald Trump is escalating attacks on political rivals, this time zeroing in on billionaire financier and Democratic donor George Soros. On August 27th, the president claimed without evidence that Soros and his son should face criminal prosecution under the RICO Act for allegedly funding violent protests across the country. In a fiery Truth Social post, Trump accused Soros of trying to rip America apart and said that they were not going to allow these lunatics to do it anymore. Soros, now 95 years old and a Holocaust survivor, runs the Open Society Foundation, one of the world's largest philanthropic groups supporting democracy, human rights, and public health. A spokesperson for the foundation quickly reportedly hit back, blasting Trump's comments as outrageous and false, and stressing that they have never funded violent protests. The president's comments come as part of a broader pattern in which he has used lawsuits, threats, and executive power to pressure opponents, a strategy his allies frame as accountability, but critics warn is an assault on dissent. Trump has also set his sights on former National Security Advisor John Bolton, a longtime critic, with the FBI searching Bolton's home last week in connection with a national security investigation. And in a throwback move, Trump recently urged prosecutors to revisit the 2013 Bridgegate scandal tied to former New Jersey Governor Chris Christie, another vocal opponent of the president.
I now recognize Tyler O'Neill for his opening statement.
Chairwoman Green, members of the subcommittee, the last few weeks have featured revelation after revelation of how our tax dollars have been spent propping up radical left-wing causes across the world. Yet what struck me about the abuse of foreign aid has been the connections with leftist activists here at home. As a senior editor at the Daily Signal, I researched the left's dark money network, which propped up the influence campaign I expose in my book, The Woktopus. I found that leftist elites prop up NGOs that staffed and advised the Biden administration, pushing unpopular policies on the American people through the bureaucracy. In my remarks, I will present 3 examples of how the left's dark money network intersects with just one agency focused on foreign aid, the U.S. Agency for International Development. The views I will express in this testimony are my own. The left's dark money network features George Soros and his Open Society Foundations, the Tides Foundation, and the network of nonprofits established by Arabella Advisors.
Here's this evil bastard. I've been showed y'all this shit though. Scroll down on the videos, y'all. Hit the 411 on this. dude. Get the 411 on this dude, y'all. The evilest, wickedest man in the world. I've been said that why George Soros, Alex Soros' son, visit the White House over a dozen times when Joe Biden was the president. Look at him with Obama. Follow the money trail, ladies and gentlemen. Follow the money trail. You understand me? He's gonna try to refuse it, but Bill Gates got his hands in some Jab 19 experiment, don't he? The puppet master. This old wicked motherfucker was funding all that illegal foolishness, especially his son Alex, because his son Alex Soros is a moot. Straight moot. I showed y'all them facts. His son is part of the LGBTQ community. Here goes his mook ass son right here, y'all. That's his mook ass son, Alex Soros. Why did he visit the White House over a dozen times when Joe Biden and Kamala Harris was in the White House? Why Alex Soros visit the White House over a dozen times, ladies and gentlemen? Same there with Biden. Here he is again, ladies and gentlemen, at the White House. Alex Soros with Barack Obama, Kamala Harris, Pelosi, Nancy Pelosi, and the whole 9 yards, y'all. There it is here, y'all. There he is again, y'all. Look at the evidence there, ladies and gentlemen. Alex Soros' access to Biden's White House continues as he's now visited at least 20 times to the White House. Boom. Busted. God damn it. There he is. Hey. Yep, Alex Soros, I'm more political than my father. What that say? George Soros' son takes control of financial empire. Booyah. No. That's why they out there capping, y'all. In the bed with your boy Jeffers, Hakeem Jeffers. Look. You know. George Soros' son becomes kingmaker with top Dems as he make multiple White House visits, meet with lawmakers. There it is. There it is. President Clinton, everywhere, you know. Fuck they talking about. Members include Bill Clinton, Alex Soros. George Soros announced this to the press, nor was it in the what? Vatican too? What's happening? Y'all getting some exclusive footage. But the Pope was in the bed with these motherfuckers too, y'all. That's why he met his demise so soon. Talking about the Pope, y'all. In the bed with Alex Soros, George Soros, Bill Clinton. Look at him. Private meeting at the White House, y'all. Look. Discussing shit with lawmakers, y'all. They had you line up and take an experiment. And he blessed the jabs. Crazy, right? Gotcha, goddammit. Receipts. They don't lie. Look at this. They gave him a gold medal, y'all. Key to the White House. Look. Look at Alex. Faggot ass. We got facts, y'all. We got the facts to prove what we talking. Who that, ladies and gentlemen? Who that? We got the facts. Ladies and gentlemen, are we seeing this? All these motherfuckers that's in the bed with the Soros is fighting against Trump. That's causing mayhem on the American people. That's supporting the illegal migrants. That's why they fighting to the end, ladies and gentlemen. Here's the source. Follow the money trail. Boom. Busted. Follow the money trail. Boom. It leads you to some shit you would not want to see, ladies and gentlemen. Look at this shit, y'all. Now we see, right? Who's putting batteries in these motherfuckers' bags, right? Look at that, y'all. Look at this shit, y'all. What they talking about? What they chatting about, man? Look at that. What they chatting about, man? What they chatting about, man? What they chatting about, man? Presidential Medal of Freedom for George Soros, really?
And the network of nonprofits established by Arabella Advisors. Right here. These groups, which you can see on this chart, funnel cash to DEI, transgender, and climate alarmist causes, divisive issues that the Biden administration prioritized over addressing the concrete needs of the American people. The left's dark money network has deep ties to USAID, which has rightly received renewed scrutiny under Doge and after Elon Musk shined a light on it. While the Open Society Foundations has stated that it does not receive funds from USAID or direct USAID's spending, the Soros-founded nonprofit has a long history with USAID. In 2001, the Soros Foundations Network, which became Open Society, listed USAID among its donor partners. Open Society and USAID have jointly funded the Organized Crime and Corruption Reporting Project, a news outlet that attack conservatives for, you guessed it, criticizing Soros.
George Soros taking shortcut to buy 200 U.S. radio stations, FCC commissioner says, to control the narrative. to control the narrative. How many of y'all knew that? George Soros taking shortcut to buy 200 radio stations, y'all, in the U.S. to control the narrative with these hypocrites. Took over how many radio stations? For how much?
A news outlet that attacked conservatives for, you guessed it, criticizing Soros. Open Society and USAID also jointly fund the East-West Management Institute. Among other things, the institute launched court changes in Albania that critics allege resulted in the prosecution of Albanian opposition leader Sali Berisha, silencing the opponent of the country's socialist prime minister. Open Society has hired at least 5 former USAID staff, including at least one high-level official who worked at USAID providing services amid political transitions in foreign countries. Former USAID Administrator Samantha Power met at least twice with Open Society leaders. USAID has directly funded a different organization in the left's dark money network, the Tide Center. The agency has awarded more than $27 million in grants to the center. You'll find the Tides Foundation right here. The Tide Center has funded many of the leftist groups that influence the Biden administration, and it also operates its own in-house nonprofit called Palestine Legal, which represents anti-Israel rioters in court and gives them legal advice. Former USAID staff have also gone on to work for Arabella Advisors, which is a for-profit company that set up pass-through nonprofits. These groups allow donors to support specific projects without being associated with these projects. One of the nonprofits, New Venture Fund, set up a secretive group called Governing for Impact. Even though Governing for Impact had existed for barely 2 years and did not appear in a Google search at the time, its leaders met with and advised top staff in the Biden administration, executive-level bureaucrats who oversaw the vast federal bureaucracy. Leaders of the Rockefeller Foundation, another funder in the left's dark money network, previously held roles at USAID, including the former administrator, who now serves as the foundation's president. Other USAID staff have gone on to work at the nonprofits that staffed and advised the Biden administration, including the Center for American Progress, the Human Rights Campaign, and the American Civil Liberties Union. Personnel is policy, and these connections between the left's influence campaign on the Biden administration and USAID reveal how woke elites have captured the enterprise of foreign aid. Thank you.